Okay, so a couple organizational type announcements at the top, and then we'll get started with today's class. If I get your attention, please. Thank you. First, the Cool Hand Luke viewing. We finally know when this will be. The Cool Hand Luke movie viewing will be in this room on Thursday at 5 o'clock. And there's a B-Space announcement to this effect, so it probably isn't a surprise to you, but it's new to me. So Cool Hand Luke viewing here Thursday at 5 o'clock. Also, you can get this via Netflix or your local, whatever video stores. I don't know if you still go to those, but there's like a few left. They're still available to you. Also, I think Netflix, you can do the online streaming thing on Netflix, so that's a good option as well. Let's see if we can break that by putting 300 people streaming Cool Hand Luke at the same time. I'm probably misunderstanding the technology and how it works by suggesting that's possible. Also, we'll have a copy of it on reserve at the Media Resource Center. Okay. A lot of people have been asking me about paper passbacks. So we had this kind of hilarious shenanigans of trying to get your papers back last Thursday. Hilarious to, well, no one involved, but perhaps someone was smiling upon us laughing. So I wasn't. It was kind of hell. We were trying to get 1,500 papers back to you all, and it took like a half hour, and I think we kind of failed miserably. We had the best of intentions. Nora Broche is out sick today, the head reader, and so she'll be here on Thursday with the papers we haven't handed back. There's a question in the back. Oh, Cool Hand Luke. Oh, okay, cool. Another option is download on iTunes for $2.99. Thank you very much. Okay, any questions about the Cool Hand Luke showing or the pass back papers? Yes. We can't. It might make more sense to turn them in and get just your grade back via D-Space. However, we're not allowed to do that for the first assignment in the sociology department. I don't understand these rules. We have to follow these rules. Hopefully, we'll be handing stuff back just via scores on D-Space in the future. Yes, I agree with you. Yes, sir. The assignments go into the catch-all, I think it's 25% category, and the relative proportions are not determined yet. It depends a little bit on how many papers and quizzes there wind up being. So the quizzes, it's indeterminate how many quizzes there'll be. Also, we're not sure. The last paper assignment, we sometimes do it, sometimes don't. It depends on how things are going in the class. So it's unclear so far. But all quizzes and papers are put together and averaged under that 25% thing, with a couple of papers weighted more heavily. The Cool Hand Luke essay is weighted more heavily than these smaller assignments, and then also the Grand Illusion essay is also weighted more heavily. So pay more attention to those. Take those more seriously. But did I just lose my mic? Am I not? I am. Okay. Can you all hear me? Okay, great, awesome. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, cool. So that's how that works. Any other questions about that? Grading proportions. So yeah. Okay, great. Also, the breaching assignment is due Thursday, and just to recap, this breaching assignment, it is, well, this is what I put up in class, though I slightly revised it in light of a couple questions. No significant revisions, but all right. So here's the breaching assignment. Whatever. Okay, you can't see that. Here's the breaching assignment as I put it up in class. I want to emphasize it's nothing illegal or immoral. Also, do not prank my colleagues in the sociology department, for I will get in a world of hurt, and you'll get away with it. I will be in lots of trouble, and I'll be unhappy with you. Okay, other things about this. Oh, I modified. I gave an updated version of this assignment on B-Space. Somebody wanted a page guideline, 2 to 4 pages. I guess 2 to 4 pages works. If you want to go over that, that's fine. And then also somebody asked, can we just do one of the breaches that you presented in class? No, you have to be creative and come up with your own breaches. Don't use any of the ones from class. Is that clear? Yes, ma'am. Yes. No, I just want you to review it for the purposes of doing the assignment, for your mental purposes, not to recap it in the essay. Any other questions? Yes. Yeah, if you want to do a video for extra credit, that's impressive to me. My readers were immediately afterwards were like, you didn't tell us anything about videos. And so I'll be watching these videos on my own and grading them and seeing if they're sufficient for extra credit. Yes, which will be fun for me. So assuming there's less than 100 of them. Yeah, just turn it in with your assignment, and we'll put it in a separate stack. It'll probably be on some kind of CD or something like that. I don't know how you all do it. A reel-to-reel tape, an 8-track, something like that. Sir? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, if it's not enormous, yeah, cool. Other questions? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, first person would be good, because you're kind of telling the story of the breach and stuff. So yeah, writing in first person would be terrific. Yes. For identifying the implicit norm or rule that's being broken in your proposed breach or the breach you actually do, it could be one sentence, it could be more sentences, but one sentence could be sufficient if it was a clear, detailed sentence. That would be fine. Other questions about the breaching assignment? Okay, and I want to show you. Y'all ever watch the Jamie Kennedy Experiment? It's sort of like the Ollie G Show, or I don't know, these shows. Anyway, I like the Jamie Kennedy Experiment, and so I'm going to show you one of these skits from it, just to inspire you for breaching. And one other thing, on Thursday we're going to finish up the last norms lecture, and we're going to do a review for the exam that comes the following Tuesday. So be ready. If you have questions about the material, bring it in. All right. Okay, I just want to show you that because it reminds me of the Milgram Experiment, sort of. Would you do that? Do you think you would do that if you were hired and then you were immediately asked to fire a bunch of people and you had no other job prospects and it's not so horrible economy? Don't worry. I don't know. They have multiple other marks that they call them marks because it's like practical jokes, or it's like pawn games, and pretty much everybody seems like they did it. That people were willing to be hired for a day just to fire people. Anyway, okay, so that's an example of breaching. It would be wonderful if you did something like that, videotaped it, and then sent it in. But you're not doing anything quite that elaborate. Just feel free to break some norms. Okay, so today we're going to continue the sort of selected topics in conformity and norms. On last Tuesday we did the kind of basics of conformity. We talked about the Sharif, the Alport, and the Ash studies, and then we continued on talking about norms on Thursday. We talked about breaching, we talked about groupthink, and today we're going to talk about pluralistic ignorance and unpopular norms. And if we have time, we might talk about bystander intervention. But we'll probably cover most of that on Thursday. Okay, so pluralistic ignorance, which is a very strange expression, which is very hard to pronounce. What is this idea? Well, pluralistic ignorance. It's important to understand the backdrop that pluralistic ignorance as a concept is responding to. So the conventional picture of norms and conformity that social scientists hold is that norms happen when the majority of people hold some view. Then what happens is conformity pressures lead this view to dominate the group. And this is roughly the situation of the Ash experiment, right? Where you've got 8 Confederates, they all hold some view, and if you come ninth, you're going to assume that view as a result of conformity pressure, right? But what researchers on pluralistic ignorance and researchers on unpopular norms challenge is this assumption that all norms are popularly endorsed, that all norms are in fact privately popular, that the majority of people really supports the norms in a group. And this is a perspective that's widespread in the social sciences. It's not just in social psychology, this idea that norms must be popularly endorsed, that they must be supported by the majority. It's something that's reflected in most of the major theoretical perspectives in sociology and the social sciences. So for instance, the conflict perspective in sociology, a perspective associated with Marx and people like Gramsci. This perspective says that norms are useful and they're sort of created by the dominant classes to create false consciousness for the masses. And while this doesn't necessarily say that all norms are popularly endorsed, it does say they're useful, that they're pragmatic, that they serve some purpose. Then functionalist accounts in sociology tend to assume that norms are popularly endorsed can serve some kind of function. Also, utilitarian perspectives in economics and the rational choice perspective in sociology assumes, again, that norms are useful for society or for dominant groups in society and are popularly endorsed. And this is, in all ways, the sort of dominant perspective. You, sir, in the hat, can you stop text messaging in my class? Thank you. So, pluralistic ignorance is a concept that comes up in opposition to that and challenges this idea that norms are popular. So, pluralistic ignorance is a term that's coined by Floyd Alport in 1924, the brother of the guy with the dirt fetish. And pluralistic ignorance is defined as when a norm is privately unpopular but publicly accepted by most people. So, in other words, it's when a group mistakenly thinks that a view is held by a majority of people when it is in fact held by just a plurality, a group of people that does not constitute a full majority. So, pluralistic ignorance in this way involves conformity gone awry. We would expect conformity to normally be the case when a majority of people has some view and people succumb to the pressure to accept that view. That would be the normal perspective on conformity. This is what we try to do in the Ash experiment, to a lesser extent in the Sharif experiment. In pluralistic ignorance, though, a norm is somehow misperceived and they conform to. People do not correctly observe the actual private endorsement of the norm. They believe a norm is privately, popularly supported when it actually isn't, and then they conform to what might be a non-existent conformity pressure. So in other words, I always have trouble saying this. I do research on pluralistic ignorance, too, and it's so embarrassing I can't say the damn expression. In other words, pluralistic ignorance involves unpopular norms, which to many sociologists for many decades would have been considered a contradiction in terms. So here's some more descriptions of pluralistic ignorance. Pluralistic ignorance is when no one believes, but everyone thinks that everyone believes. This is a definition by Kretsch and Crutchfield from 1948. And groupthink, this concept that we talked about in some detail on Thursday, could be thought of as involving pluralistic ignorance, since often in groupthink, the group makes a decision that the majority of members are privately uncomfortable with. And here I would ask you to think about that cartoon, right? The cartoon where the boss says, does everybody support this plan? You know, say aye. And everybody goes aye, and it seems to be popularly endorsed. But then privately, everyone has their doubts, right? And if you think about that political cartoon, or that cartoon, in a lot of ways, it's the exact opposite of the Ash experiment, right? In the Ash experiment, there's 8 people that presumably believe this norm, right? And say this line equal to this other line, even though, it's seemingly not true. And then the 9th person comes along, they privately are not so sure, but they conform to it. In pluralistic ignorance, the majority is all doing what the 9th person does. The majority of people are saying aye when they really think to themselves no. And so the big question is, how could that happen? How could it happen that we would conform to a norm that isn't actually privately endorsed? How would this ever come to be? It seems like the situation like the Ash experiment, right, where 8 people have some view and then the 9th person falls in line, and so basically 89% of people have the view, but it looks like 100. How could we ever have a situation where 30% of people have some view, but it looks like the majority? And that's what I'll try and talk to you about today. Okay, so what are some examples of this? There's quite a few examples in the history of social psychology. Schenck, in 1932, did a community study of people in some town in the Midwest, I believe, showing that community members would criticize drinking and gambling in public, but then in private, they would drink and gamble a lot because it was fun to them. Breed and Costanz in 1961 did a survey showing that people in New Orleans tended to overestimate opposition to integration, which is kind of confusing. They overestimated support for school segregation, racial school segregation. So people thought that everyone else was a big segregationist, but when they actually did private surveys, it turned out that support for segregation was much lower than people thought. Cordy in 1972 did a study showing that students at Vassar College tended to perceive one another as very left-wing and very politically radical, but then in private surveys it was revealed they were substantially less radical. So people's perception of the average radicalism on college campuses in this time may have been exaggerated, may have been greater than it actually was. And indeed, in 1972, George McGovern ran against Richard Nixon for the presidency and was going to supposedly win on the youth vote, or had his best chance to win on the youth vote, and that youth vote didn't turn out to be the landslide support for McGovern that was expected by most analysts. And then the classic, maybe my favorite example, and this is why I assigned a paper to this effect, in a paper that was published in 1993, based on a study that was conducted in 1992, students at Princeton overestimated other people's comfort with excessive drinking on campus. I don't know if you all are familiar with this. I wasn't until recently. I went to Princeton to give a talk, and they have these drinking clubs, which are sort of like fraternities and sororities. And these drinking clubs, they just get together and they just drink their asses off. Like it's this big Princeton ritual, goes back hundreds of years. It's really unclear why it's legal and stuff, because there's I think lots of underage drinking. I don't know the insides of these things. It sounds terrifying. I don't know these Ivy League rituals. They scare me. But in any event, this is this big thing on the Princeton campus. This big culture of this drinking club drinking. And what they found was that when they did a study of what do you privately think about drinking, how comfortable are you with this excessive binge drinking all the time? What they found was the majority of Princeton students, even the ones in these drinking clubs, which is 90% of the students, they tended to say, I'm actually not so comfortable with the extreme levels of drinking. I don't actually want to spend my weekends just constantly vomiting and taking ibuprofen and whatnot. But then when they were asked, what do you think everybody else thinks? They were like, oh, they love it. Everybody else is really into this, But that can't be true, right? It can't be the case that everyone's saying they're uncomfortable with it, but then everyone's saying that everybody else would say they're comfortable with it. Do you know what I'm saying? There must be a misperception at work. People are misperceiving the real norm. And so some of the details of the study, they even overestimated a close friend's comfort with the drinking norms on campus. So when asked, talk about, your best friend, they'd say, oh yeah, he or she, they're very comfortable with all the drinking. I'm not. So it wasn't even just that they weren't very good at assessing general population attitudes, which is very difficult, right? We pay people to assess general population attitudes because it's not easy. It's even their closest friends, they had this misperception that they were comfortable with it when they themselves were not. And then this norm had teeth. It had real behavioral impact, right? I mean, you might say, okay, so they misperceive the norm. Who cares? It doesn't do anything. It doesn't affect behavior. In fact, Prentice and Miller in 1993 find that it actually affected their behavior over the course of the semester. Remember the Ash study. Remember the Sharif study. When we perceive a norm in groups, we tend to assimilate to that norm. We tend to fall in line and conform to that norm. So you perceive a norm, you'll tend to conform to it. Commit inconsistency, or think about social pressure in the Cialdini book. Think about the Prentice and Miller reading, which you already read. What they found was that people tended to assimilate to the drinking norm over the course of the semester. So by the end of the semester, the discrepancy between their private beliefs and their perception of everyone else's had gone down because they started to adopt those underlying beliefs and presumably drink a lot more. And this makes sense. People's attitudes tend to fall in line with their public behavior. So what probably happened was they misperceived the norm as everyone's comfortable with it. They're not comfortable with it. They fall in line with the norm behaviorally and start drinking excessively in order to avoid social sanctions and be accepted. And then their attitude starts to fall in line with their behavior, right? Cognitive dissonance theory. But again, this is also counterintuitive, and in general, researchers haven't found this effect where pluralistic ignorance tends to go away as people obey the behavior and then their thoughts fall in line with their behavior. So this is the only time this has been found, and it's kind of counterintuitive, right? Because you would think that this means that pluralistic ignorance sort of sows the seeds of its own demise, because it leads you to conform in your behavior, and your attitude falls in line with your behavior, and before you know it, the norm isn't unpopular anymore. This is sort of a puzzle of unpopular norms and pluralistic ignorance. Any questions? Yes, sir. That's true, yeah. No, technically that's true. In the study, very good, very good. So in the study, it is only the men that they find a behavioral or an actual attitudinal conformity over the course of the semester, not the women. And they don't really explain that great, right? I don't know. I mean, not that I have an obvious explanation for it either. I mean, one thing could be that men may have the experience of I'm conforming to this norm, boy, this is fun. And then women on college campuses, especially in the early 90s, excessive drinking, they may perceive themselves to be a personal danger or risk being in these sorts of settings, and that may stop them from having their attitudes that assimilate to the norm. Other questions? Okay. All right, so what would cause this? That's why I set up this lecture. This is a puzzle of unpopular norms, of pluralistic ignorance. God, yeah. Never choose to do research on a topic you cannot pronounce. It will cause you. It will embarrass you. It's been embarrassing me since the fall of 2000. That's 10 years of embarrassment. Continued right through to this minute. So, what are the mechanisms, the causes that can help us explain pluralistic ignorance? Yeah, I'm gonna call it like PI from now on. Okay, so one idea is of why we might get these strange results where a majority is holding some view and voicing that view, while a minority, or it's only a minority that actually privately endorses it, is bad sampling. That it may be that if we go to assess the norm in our environment, in a group we're in, we sample poorly and don't accurately infer what the view really is. And I think this is pretty plausible. So there's a lot of ways that bad sampling might work. Okay, so one is information cascades. It could be that as some new topic or stimulus or event or song or movie or something like that appears on the scene, a few early people voice their attitude and then have a disproportionate impact on everybody's attitude after that. And then as a result, even though most people maybe wouldn't privately like it, they'll say publicly they like it just because there was this cascade of attitudes that were voiced in support of it. So let's say, for example, that you're in a group of 8 people and you just saw some movie, and in actuality, 5 of you hated it and 3 of you liked it. But if those 3 people that liked it express their opinion first when you're hanging out later, then it's very possible that you'll get the impression that everybody liked it, and you'll say, oh yeah, it was okay, man, that movie sucked, you know. And as a result, it'll seem like a majority of people supported the movie. And a good example of this can be found in this organic et al. Reading that you were assigned. And another good example is the thought experiment that I told you about, the New York City restaurants, right? Where I told you, this is something economists like to talk about, is say these 2 restaurants open up in New York City on the same day, no one's in either of them. The first person goes up to them and is like, I don't know which one to go to, I'll flip a coin and go to restaurant A and neglect restaurant B. Then the second person comes up and is like, I have no idea, no one's ever eaten at either of these restaurants, I'll just go to the one with 1 dude in it. And then the next person comes and is like, oh, that one's kind of popular. And then before you know it, this restaurant's got overflowing with people, is very successful, and this one's totally neglected, and it's just because of early movers having an effect, having a conformity pressure on subsequent patrons. Another way in which bad sampling can work is not this ordering effect where a cascade happens because of early people voicing their opinion or making their choice and having disproportionate social influence on others. Another mechanism is visibility of behavior. It could be that more visible behavior is more easily viewed, well that's obviously the case, and then it gets perceived as normative. So think about a couple of these examples that we were talking about. Think about the drinking one. Say you're on Princeton campus, it's the early 90s, and some people are comfortable with excessive drinking, most people aren't. But let's say you're walking around campus and you're like a first week freshman, okay? And you're walking around and you're trying to figure out what's the normative level of drinking. What are you going to see? You're going to see the excessive drinkers, right? They're like all over themselves, they're having whatever, lots of fun, they're doing whatever drunk people do in public, and then you're not going to see the teetotalers, right? Sitting in their dorm rooms, playing Star Wars video games and drinking, literally drinking tea. I don't know which one of those I was in college, but I haven't really painted a very pretty image of either of them. But which one are you going to see? And so as you see that more visible behavior and you infer with a normist, you might get it wrong because you're oversampling one behavior versus the other. And it might help explain the protesting on college campuses one, right? Where in the early 70s, at least on one college campus at Vassar, students were overestimating how radical everybody is. Well, again, put yourself in the shoes of an undergraduate at Vassar in 1972, and you're walking around campus, you're trying to figure out how radical is everybody, how much they oppose the war in Vietnam, how much they oppose Nixon's election in 1972. And you walk around, and what are you going to see? You're going to see public protests, right? You're not going to see the people who are quietly have their political opinions and are going off voting. You're going to see the people who go out in the streets with big signs and are purposely trying to shape the apparent norms and create social pressure in favor of their political positions. And so it's not surprising that people would overestimate the radicalism on college campuses in the late 60s and early 70s. And that could also help explain the New Orleans overestimation of support for segregation. Segregationists would go out in public and loudly try and stop buses from integrating schools. So that's going to be very visible behavior, right? So it's understandable how a more visible behavior would be misperceived as more popular than it really is. So public behavior could be a bad source of information due to bad sampling. Another thing is an oppressive regime. Say you have a dictatorship, a totalitarian dictatorship in a country, they could essentially outlaw one behavior and promote the other, leading everybody in that country to mistakenly believe that the one norm that's legal and is governmentally encouraged is actually privately very popular, and that the one that's illegal is unpopular or maybe even unheard of in the country. So a big example of that, and one of the classic examples of pluralistic ignorance is the rapid fall of communism. So around 1989, all of a sudden communism fell in many, many countries. Hey, can you all there be quiet? Thank you. You've been talking a lot. Thank you. All right. So around 1989, a cascade of revolutions happened all across Eastern Europe. And don't talk about me telling you to stop talking. Okay. A cascade of revolutions happened. Berlin Wall fell. The Soviet Union a couple years later stopped being the Soviet Union, became a series of confusing things. The Confederated States of the... Do you all remember what that one was? The Confederate... CIS or something? I can't remember. Okay. So in any event, communism fell really rapidly. And all of these political scientists around the world were like, whoa, how did that happen? How was it that communism fell overnight like that? It doesn't seem possible. It doesn't seem possible, A, for change to happen that rapidly, when we've never had revolutionary change in that many countries go off like that before. Well, except maybe since 1848. But also, it was curious because we thought communism was popularly supported. You'd see public demonstrations in support of communism in all these countries. You didn't see loud dissent. You certainly didn't see many public protests leading up to it. A little bit in East Berlin. But in general, this was an exceptional story. We didn't see a lot of public protests before it all came down. Okay, all right, there was a Solidarity Party in Poland, and there was some protests in East Berlin. But for the most part, not the kind of like earth-changing, we're about to topple the government sort of public protests you'd expect. So this was a big surprise to people. But what it turned out was that people were scared, right? People in communist dictatorships were scared to say that they actually opposed the government. And so what happened was actually something like 70, 80%, I'm guessing here, we'll never know, but maybe 70, 80% of people were discontented with these dictatorships that they labored under. And all they needed was for a few people to go out and make it okay to protest. And as soon as they did, it triggered a cascade where people's private opinions came bubbling to the surface, and the Berlin Wall fell, and the Soviet Union broke up, and so on. Okay, and this has led to this larger principle that when dictatorships collapse in the face of revolution, it may be incredibly unpredictable. Because what it is like 10, 15 people go out in a central square in East Berlin and publicly protest, it's on TV, and then all of a sudden it snaps, and the regime can end. Also, this is something I talked about a little bit already when we were talking about Sharif. It could be that your sample, as you go to assess the popularity or functionality of a norm, it could be that your sample of